Wait, you're not Jacques.
No, I'm Greg Whitstock, the pond guy.
Oh my God, looks like we're doing a pond evaluation. Good to have you here, my friend.
Good to be back. This is year 3 for this, right?
I've never done that one before.
What do you mean you've never done the bro hug?
Not for this long.
What about the bro hug?
Not for this long.
Well, we started off laughing.
We did. So, Greg has been here, but I don't think you've been on the Homesteading channel before because when the pond was getting installed, it was Ed. Ed,
yes,
the pond professor,
Ed, the
came
pond
in.
professor, yes. And then I came out a year later, which is about a year and a half ago, I'd say right now. And it is amazing how everything's taken off. Imagine that, a gardener actually knowing what he's doing. I love it.
Took me some time, but so I thought what we'd do in today's episode, guys, is we would kind of reminisce. We'd talk about how this pond got set up and the years it's been. And then since we have Greg Whitstock here, who is the founder of Aquascapes and really is the one who is responsible for this pond existing, I thought I would just ask you some questions on what you think of what I've done,
yes,
what I could do to level it up further, and just tips for having a baller pond.
Baller pond,
in your yard.
That.
So first of all, let's just give it your quick eval right now compared to when you saw it last. And we'll even put some stuff up on the screen of like how it was when we first built it out.
Well, what did I say? What you said my quote about it.
He said I have a Ferrari in a minivan's casing or something like that.
Well, now you have a Ferrari casing.
Yeah.
So you got a Ferrari and a Ferrari casing. Spectacular water garden. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 9 out of 10.
That's not bad.
Yes.
That's not bad.
And we'll tweak it a little bit to make it a 10 out of 10. But the number one thing that I like about it is how the plants have just filled in. This is year 3, right?
This is year about 3 or so, yeah.
So the number one thing that we always try to achieve is you want to not know where the water ends and the land begins. And there's little techniques like that beautiful piece of wood that Ed installed over there.
That was a nice one.
But these grasses, feather grass, what?
Yeah, I think it's Mexican feathergrass, or it might be a different species, but it's something like that.
It softens up the border. It also blocks your eyes from continuing past. A couple of rocks, and then you go right into the papyrus.
Yep.
And I think it's thalia, right?
I think I put this is some sort of canna, I think.
Okay, canna, that's canna. Yep, that is a canna. And then obviously
got the lilies, and then the water hawthorn actually used to all be right over there. You can see some of the original right there. It started to spread, and then actually this border here, I used to not violate the water and edge beginning because this actually used to all be watercress over here.
Yes.
But you can tell there's a little bit right here. We just had to do a full reset of it because, the watercress explodes and then it kind of dies off and you pull. So I'm hoping this kind of regrows with some more watercress. And then you know what I found with this feathergrass is this is a really pro tip. I don't know, you might already know it, but what you do at the end of the season when it starts to get really overgrown.
Light it.
Well, that'd be a good one. I haven't done that one yet. But what you do is you bunch it up, you tie around about halfway down, and then you use shears, and you just shear the top right off. So you get like a flat top, and then it grows back just like this.
Beautiful.
So it works really well to control it. We also put this in.
The layering is spectacular. The rock work is terrific.
Well, that's all Ed. The rock work was all Ed. And I think the thing that Ed did so well was the placement of it just looks very, very natural. And he gave like little areas for the fish to hang out in. So there's that little fish hole.
The fish cave.
Yeah, the fish cave's down in there. But then I would say about half of this big stone here is shelved. So I can even stand all the way out here.
Yes.
The leverage isn't moving this rock at all. But I think you can probably get to about there if you're a fish.
So one of the things is the size of some of these rocks, which are all machine set boulders.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do it yourself or to pull this off. But the less rocks, the more, the better.
Yeah.
So the less rocks, I mean, if you look at this waterfall right here, it's really just 5 or 6 rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rocks.
Yeah.
And this frames out. Imagine how much different that would look if you used 50 rocks.
Yeah, to kind of like piecemeal set it.
Yeah, so the fact that we just got 4 or 5 big boulders in there makes it, I love that shelf waterfall there.
He did a great job with setting this particular one. Even the color of that stone is so nice.
And he looked at that, and then you take that same rock, you flip it, you have a whole different look. So it's got that veil falls right there because it cuts back in. And of course, then there's that little high point there in the area. But the layering of the plants, and then of course, this, I didn't even remember that you had your rainwater harvesting tank back there because of the vine that you have growing all over it.
Yeah, the passion fruit vine has, I would say in about, it's a touch over a year now.
Yes.
We planted one there and one there. And the thesis was, you could just get away with one, but I wanted to grow a little bit faster.
Yep.
is we put like basically just T-posts and some chicken wire. Really simple stuff, not expensive at all. And we just strung a few lines over to a T-post on the backside so it had something to crawl over. And now, even if you look over the top of it, you can't tell. You can barely see that there's a tank here.
Wow.
All the way over to there.
It's
and
amazing.
You told me this, Greg told me this when he was here last. He's like, you want somewhere for the eye to stop so that it can refocus back down here where the magic is. Now, the part that we had a lot of trouble with, and everyone watching knows this, is the ground cover.
Okay.
It's the ground layer. So you'll notice here, I keep forgetting what this is. We just figured out how to get this to set. The last time we tried it, we had this English thyme, which some of it set, but we actually had this planted all the way down here and most of that died off. But now you're starting to see like the rock set into the soil, which was quote fake, right? It was man-made. Now we're spilling the plants over the rock. Right, and so there's no hard edges really anywhere.
It's beautiful. Year 1 sleep, year 2 creep, year 3 leap, and this is taking a leap. The only things that I would change,
what would you
modify?
Roast me.
Yeah, it's not about roasting, but I'm assuming that these rocks were originally put here because some of your fish were going down.
I lost 2 fish because they couldn't get out of the return.
Yep. I think right now, I bet you if we remove that, the fish that have been living in here for so long, because that probably happened right when they first went in there, I bet you we can take this border and maybe spread it out a little bit. I don't think the fish will go down there.
You don't think so?
Keep an eye on it.
Because this looks a little fake to you.
I think that this area with the gravel and the stone, I think we can really, I mean, it's such a dramatic area, the intake bay.
Yeah.
I think we could really decorate this up a little bit better with the rocks.
As you just said that, I was like, why am I not planting little pockets in here?
Yes.
Right.
So planting some creeping Jenny, planting impatience in like a stocking like we talked about on your podcast.
Yeah.
And it will just take over and it will soften up the border because it's a little bit harsher. It's a little too rocky right now.
It's a little too rocky.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think about kind of this open area? Like, is there some rule about how much of the pond surface should be covered for fish protection?
Yes.
It's about 1/3, right?
Every pond is going to be different because this is pretty much full sun.
Pretty much.
Here. So you have actually a little bit more than I would normally suggest in terms of covered. The water lilies are no longer being restricted by the pots. They've actually leaped. The tubers have leaped over and now it's rooting itself into the gravel.
Yeah, they actually fell over so it was about this big of a grow bag.
Yep.
Something like 3-4 gallons, and they just tipped and then rooted on their side.
Yeah, into the gravel, which is part of the ecosystem. I would actually cut this back slightly.
Really?
And keep it cut back because obviously this is where you see your fish so much.
That's the thing is I want to enjoy the koi.
Yep.
The koi are huge now because we started to actively feed them instead of just kind of let them live off what's in the pond. But you're right, they're under there right now.
Yep.
And I want to see them.
Yeah,
so I could cut this back.
You could just easily trim that back.
To about there or so, right?
Yeah, I would do a little bit more. Yeah, exactly what I would do. Then you'd see the fish more, and then I'm gonna send you some koi crunchies.
Okay.
Which are basically, they look like Cheetos.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can actually train your fish to eat out of your hands.
See, that's what I've been waiting to do. I've never figured that out because the koi, I did this little float ring, right? Because with a natural system, they're gonna just return all the food back to the return. We don't want that. And so I did this with just some irrigation ring, and they'll come up and they now know if something's in there, that's food. But they have yet to understand that I could feed them. Yeah, they're too afraid of me still.
They're still, and so I think 2 things. One, when is the last time you added a new fish for here, Kevin?
An actual new fish? I would say at least a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But every other year, you should add a new fish.
Okay.
Because what happens is, just like the Pilgrims and the Indians, you can, if you bring a new fish in here in 3 or 4 years and all these fish have been living together, that fish can introduce new diseases. So if you periodically add a new fish to replace the 2 fish that you originally lost or something like that. Yeah. So let's do this. I'm gonna send you at least 1, maybe 2 new fish for in here, and then some koi crunchies, and within a month, the new fish along with the feeding, they'll be eating out of your hand.
So what's the process? Like if I've got koi that don't eat out of my hand now, do I just kind of have the koi crunchies and like hold them here?
So what I would do is every day that I feed them, I would do a pattern. So I would hit something like this. Yeah. They'll feel that vibration. They'll hear you coming up. And then I would slowly start feeding them, and then I would slowly start putting the food in my hand and then have them come up and eat out of your hand.
And they'll their mouths will kind of crunch over your fingers, right?
Oh yeah, they don't have teeth.
Yeah.
They'll just suck on it. And I've got fish that are 3 feet long. You know, they'll swallow your entire finger just trying to get to the food. They're so aggressive.
That'd be so cool. Yeah. It'd be so cool. Well, actually, okay, so I have a question for you. Oh, say hi to Fabka. She's our little garden cat.
Yeah, perfect.
So I've seen some projects, and we've been thinking about doing this, where you create like a fish tower. You've seen these things?
Yes.
Would you recommend that? I thought I could do a little. No, okay. No. Damn, I really wanted to do that.
Because you could do it.
Yeah.
But you're going to have Paul or Ian or somebody out here on a weekly basis scrubbing the algae out.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So it's because of the full sun, it's going to constantly get covered in algae.
Okay. Yeah.
The clear glass with the sun, the fish will go in it.
Yeah.
But you'll have to. It'll be a maintenance nightmare outside in full sun. In a shady pond or indoors, like I have mine.
Yeah.
I would use a towel.
So for those of you who don't know what that is, you can put something that affixes to the ground, and you have like a square plexiglass.
Or circular.
Or circular, and you can vacuum the air out of it, which sucks the water up, and the fish will actually be swimming above the surface of the pond.
You start feeding the fish in there.
Yeah.
So they start going up for the food.
It's a very neat experience. Now, I have another question. So my koi, I think I've been caring for them pretty well these days. Now, I've added some of those mosquito fish.
Yes.
And as you can see, up in this shallow area, as well as over here, I bought 50. I think it came like half of them had unfortunately died. So maybe 20 made it in.
Yeah, and now they're having babies.
Now there's at least 100 in here.
So what we're gonna do in November or December, we're gonna do at the end of year 3 for your pond, we'll do a full draining clean.
Yeah.
And at that time, we'll call the fish to have the right balance and numbers in here.
So we'll cut down on the mosquito fish, and we can just feed them to the hens or something.
You could, however you want to do, you can give them away. I just called my fish after 2 years. I did my first pond clean out. I put it on Facebook, and a guy showed up with buckets.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, so fish, good. We're gonna probably at some point add some more plants to this return area. What else do you see as you look around this area?
Honestly, like I said, I was already starting off at 9 and 10. There's some areas, because you obviously walk across here.
Yeah.
That, you can see some of the liner.
Yeah.
So we can readjust the rocks. Your bio balls have spilled out.
They're falling out here. Toss me that one.
So we're going to actually put the bio balls back into the net in there, and also make sure that they're spread out. So if I were to pull out you want
to go look at it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So this eventually, when I first started to make these were built out of garbage cans, or not cattle troughs. And, but as you notice, the way these are going, I don't want to pull it too far out because it's gonna. But you have a gap in there. I would spread it out so that all the water has to flow through it.
And so explain what the bio balls are for people who don't know.
So the bio ball is just simply a place for bacteria to colonize.
A bunch of surface area.
Just like the gravel, it's just surface area, and because it's in the biological filter, all the water will pass through it. So it'll be a hyper filtration system. But having gravel throughout the entire pond is going to create substrate for the bacteria to grow on that break down the fish waste, that break down the lily leaves. But after a couple of years, you should wash that down and clean it out.
Right.
So, but look at how you've completely hidden your plant tray here, how the plants are just taken off.
I think it's okay. For some reason, the rushes here look out of place to the rest of this landscape for some reason. So I was thinking, if you had any suggestions for things I could do to maybe soften this up a bit.
I would put a bigger boulder in here.
Yeah.
Because this is a place where there's so much plants. I would actually, so we have an area of the tray you can still see.
Yeah.
I'd replace with a bigger rock in here, which will also then kind of
break that up a bit.
Break it up so it's just so heavy on the plant material. It actually needs some rocks to it.
What I thought you might be interested to see is a while ago, we basically did 2 rounds of landscaping around this, and some success, some failure. The one thing that I was not very excited about, I didn't think it would do that well, clearly it has, is this ornamental strawberry. Have you ever seen that around a pond before?
Never.
So take a look. This is all from grown in. We only planted it right over there.
Yes.
And you can see it's starting to creep over here. It's over here, and it's ornamental. The fruit is not really that great, but I was shocked at how well it did.
Because it's softening up the rocks.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing. But I think when we come out, when it's kind of a down season here, November, December, and do a full clean out, we'll thin out some of the plants, we'll replace some of the rocks, but on a scale of 1 to 10, you got and we still need to do, because the lighting is a bit old, we didn't have color changing lights. I would like to do color changing lights that you can put on a little wheel, rotating wheel, or you can pick whatever your favorite color is. You can play with it. It's all controlled on your smartphone.
Okay.
So a color changing lights to this, do a clean out, add some of the plants in stockings over there, so maybe some impatiens or some other aquatic plants, maybe some creeping jenny, and that'll make it already is a Ferrari pond, but that'll take it to that next level.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
All right, you heard it here. Stay tuned, guys. It's been great having you out here, Greg. The Aquascapes lifestyle as we shake from across the pond. Now, the one thing I'm gonna say is I can't make a promise, but there might be a chance that our boy Jacques, the garden hermit, might be persuaded to do something with a pond at his place. So go on over to his channel, bug him about it, try to persuade him, because he's on the fence right now. But stay tuned, guys. Good luck in the garden and keep on growing.